They told you to believe in yourself. They told you to be confident. But no one ever taught you how to build it when the world is crumbling at your feet. No one told you what to do when your name is dragged through the dirt, when your dreams are on life support, when your back is against the wall and the only thing louder than your heartbeat is the sound of your doubts, screaming at you to quit. This is the moment they never prepare you for. Not in school. Not at work. And especially not in a world that profits from your self-doubt. But this is the moment when the great ones are born. This is where the unshakable rise. You see, confidence isn't noise. It isn't the loudest voice in the room. It's the quiet knowing in the pit of your soul that you will not break. Because you've decided you won't. It's not pretending. It's not arrogance. It's not about walking into a room and thinking you're better than everyone. It's walking in and needing no comparison at all. That's what unbreakable confidence is. And it's built. Not gifted. Do you think Thomas Edison believed the world owed him anything? He failed over 10,000 times before the light bulb finally came alive. 10,000 times. He didn't just act unshaken. He lived unshaken because his belief outlived every failure. Do you think Henry Ford cared what people said about him when they mocked his idea of a horseless carriage? They laughed. They ridiculed. They said it was impossible. But Ford didn't ask for permission to believe. He didn't wait for the world to approve his dream. He acted as if it was already real and the world had no choice but to catch up. That's the mindset. You must learn to act as if nothing can shake you. Because that's what the world responds to, not fear, not doubt, but certainty. But here's the truth most never say out loud. You will be tested. You will be laughed at. You will be misunderstood, betrayed, underestimated, and challenged repeatedly. And every time, you have a choice. Will you crumble? Or will you forge? Understand this: confidence doesn't come from victory. It comes from resilience. From losing everything and daring to rebuild anyway. From standing alone in a room full of silence and still choosing to speak your vision aloud. Unshakable confidence is built like muscle, rep by rep. Every time you speak when your voice trembles. Every time you show up when your knees are shaking. Every time you try again when everything in you says you're not ready. Confidence doesn't come before the action. It is the result of courageous action taken without it. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for applause. Stop waiting for someone to validate your vision. The world doesn't give you confidence. You extract it from the moments that were designed to break you. When you were passed over. When they told you no. When your plan collapsed. When you had to rebuild from dust. Those aren't your shameful chapters. Those are the blueprints of unbreakable self-belief. The world will try to convince you that your value is based on their approval. But they didn't give you your worth, so they can't take it away. You were born valuable. The problem is, you forgot. You let the world convince you that failure is fatal. That rejection is a reflection of your worth. That your dream needs permission. It doesn't. What it needs is you. Not the watered-down version. Not the one waiting to be perfect. But the one that shows up anyway. Confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you decide. Right now. So decide. Decide that no matter what happens, you will not be shaken. Not by rejection. Not by failure. Not by their opinions. Not even by your own fear. You are not your thoughts. You are not your circumstances. You are the one who chooses what comes next. When Abraham Lincoln lost election after election, they said he was finished. They called him a failure. But history remembers him as the man who never stopped rising. Because he didn't act like he was broken. He acted like every defeat was fuel. That's how you rewrite your future. And yes, the world will test you, especially when you start moving with purpose. Especially when you stop explaining yourself. Especially when you dare to walk like your vision is already real. They won't understand it. But that's okay. They're not supposed to, because it's not their vision. It's yours. And it's your responsibility to walk in it. Before they see it. To believe in it. Before there's proof. To show up for it. Before there's applause. That's the price of greatness. And it's a price most aren't willing to pay. But you are not most people. You're the one who stayed up when the world went to sleep. The one who kept working when no one was watching. The one who failed in silence, learned in private, and rose without noise. Because you weren't chasing fame. You were chasing freedom. And freedom doesn't come from waiting. It comes from building something so strong within you that the world can no longer ignore it. Let them doubt. Let them question. Let them walk away. You don't need everyone to believe. You just need you. The version of you who already knows how the story ends. No one talks about the lonely moments on the climb. When you're surrounded by noise but starving for clarity. When you're working harder than ever and still doubting if it's enough. When the people you thought would walk with you vanish the moment your growth starts to make them uncomfortable. But hear this, growth will cost you people. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you parts of yourself you used to protect out of fear. That's the price of transformation. And transformation is the birthplace of confidence. Because real confidence doesn't come from comfort. It comes from clarity, and clarity comes from struggle. You have to be willing to strip away the noise. The lies. The doubt. The old identity you built just to survive. Burn it. Like steel and fire, you are being refined. You will never build unshakable confidence while staying loyal to a life that makes you small. You have to let go of the version of you that needed permission to take up space. You have to bury the fear that made you shrink your voice to make others feel safe. This world needs you bold. It needs your power fully awake. And that will terrify those still sleeping. That's not your problem. Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But he didn't mean just thinking happy thoughts. He meant total alignment, mind, body, spirit locked in on one vision with relentless conviction. No hesitation. No second guessing. Act as if the vision is already done, because in the mind of a master, it is. You can't flirt with your dream. You must marry it. You must live it in your thoughts, in your walk, in the way you speak, breathe, and show up in rooms no one invited you into. Confidence is built in the silence of repetition. When you wake up early with no reward. When you master your craft without applause. When you choose discipline over distraction day after day, when no one's watching. Because someone out there is watching. Not a crowd. Not the world. You. And when you finally keep a promise to yourself long enough, you begin to believe in yourself again. Self-trust. That's the core of confidence. When you can look in the mirror and say, I said I would. And I did. When your actions start aligning with your words, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you become stronger. Let them say what they want. Let them laugh. Let them mock what they don't understand. Their opinion is none of your business. Because you are not chasing approval, you're chasing legacy. And legacy is not built in a day. It's built in obscurity. Inconsistency. In rejection. In invisible progress and silent evolution. Think of Walt Disney. The man was told he lacked imagination. He was fired, rejected, and told he would never make it. And yet, he built an empire off of what they couldn't see. Do you think he waited to be understood? Do you think he waited for applause? He moved like his dream was already real. And the world bent to meet that belief. That's how you move now. Act as if nothing can shake you, not because nothing will, but because you've decided nothing can. You see, pain is a currency. And those who learn to invest it, grow rich in strength. Let your wounds speak truth. Let your scars become maps. They are not signs of weakness. They are proof you walk through fire and refuse to burn. When your mind wants to spiral into fear, return to discipline. Discipline is your anchor in chaos. It's what separates the wanderers from the warriors. Discipline is not punishment. It's the highest form of self-respect. It says, I believe in a version of me that the world hasn't seen yet, and I will not abandon that vision just because it's hard. No empire was ever built without sacrifice. No confidence was ever born in a comfort zone. You want to walk unshaken? Then learn to choose purpose over impulse. Vision over noise. Conviction over convenience. There will be days your confidence feels paper thin. Days where your voice shakes. Where your mind tells you to play small, to wait, to hide. Those are the days that matter most. Because the day you move forward despite the doubt is the day you stop needing permission to be powerful. You are not here to be liked. You are here to lead. And leaders aren't always loved, they're respected. Not because they shouted the loudest, but because they walked with certainty when others froze in fear. When they zigged, you zagged. When they waited, you worked. When they asked for proof, you became it. That's the path. The only path. Walk it with fire in your chest and thunder in your step. Let them wonder where you found such certainty. Let them ask how you built a spirit so unmoved. And smile, because you know. You forged it in silence. You built it in chaos. You earned it in darkness. And you wear it like armor. You didn't wait for the world to hand you confidence. You took it piece by piece, decision by decision. You act as if nothing can shake you. Because now, nothing can. Understand this, every day, life is testing your certainty. It throws storms at you, delays, critics, silence. And it's watching not to punish, but to ask. How bad do you want it? Because the world doesn't respond to your wishes. It responds to your energy. Your posture. Your decision to keep showing up even when the doors are locked and the lights are off. This isn't about fake positivity. It's about embodied power. That quiet, undeniable presence that enters a room before you speak a word. Not because you're arrogant, but because you've bled for this belief. You've starved for this vision. You've died to the old version of you and come back as someone who refuses to fold. That's what unshakable confidence looks like. It doesn't scream. It doesn't beg. It moves deliberately, with the force of someone who no longer seeks permission. Abraham Lincoln was laughed out of politics more than once. He failed in business, lost elections, buried loved ones, and still rose to become the symbol of unbreakable purpose. Do you think confidence was given to him? No. It was forged in failure. He walked with pain on his shoulders, but he kept walking. That's the secret. Confidence isn't about being the loudest. It's about being the last one standing when the noise dies down. But let's be honest, it's hard. You'll want to quit. You'll want to go back to the easy route, the predictable life, the soft silence of mediocrity. Because that's what the world trains you for. They'll sell you comfort. They'll sell you excuses dressed as logic. They'll pat you on the back when you choose fear over risk. But you weren't made for that. Something in you knows it. That whisper at 3 a.m. That unrest you feel when you're not growing. That fire that flares up when you see someone doing what you know you're capable of. That's your soul telling you the truth. You are wasting your power. So what do? You decide. You make a sacred vow to yourself. To act as if nothing can shake you. To move like you belong where your fear says you don't. To build before the money, the fame, the support, because builders don't wait for proof. They become it. You begin to walk through your life as if everything is rigged in your favor. Not in a naive way, but in a way that tells the universe, I trust myself to handle anything. Because guess what? You've already survived your worst days. You've already walked through fire. You've already been counted out, broken, overlooked, and yet here you are. Still breathing. Still standing. Still dreaming. Don't you dare let that resilience go to waste. Confidence is remembering that you are not your failures. You are the person who got back up. And maybe that's all it takes. To stop measuring yourself by outcomes. And start measuring yourself by obedience to the vision. Because here's the truth. Success doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to the most consistent. The most relentless. The ones who show up at the same fire on day 1 as they do on day 100. Look at Thomas Edison. Thousands of failed experiments. Thousands of moments that would have crushed a lesser mind. But he wasn't focused on failure, he was obsessed with the outcome. So he kept going. That is what separates the amateurs from the elite. The ability to endure silence, rejection, confusion, and keep moving with conviction. Confidence isn't found. It's proven in your habits, your language, your decisions. Every time you choose growth over ego, you earn a piece of it. Every time you walk into uncertainty and say, let's go, you become it. But here's what most people don't tell you. Confidence and fear live in the same house. You don't wait for fear to leave. You lead anyway. You walk into rooms nervous, sweaty, unsure, and you deliver. You act like a king before the crown. You move like the empire is already built. Because it is. It's built in your belief. And belief, real belief, is louder than evidence. You want to be unstoppable? Learn to override your doubt with direction. Every time fear speaks, respond with action. Every time insecurity rises, anchor back into vision. Because when you live with purpose, fear becomes background noise. They'll try to tell you to wait. To prepare more. To play safe. But you weren't born for safety, you were born for impact. And impact doesn't happen from the sidelines. It happens when you stop dancing around your potential and start stepping into it like a warrior. With your chin high, your eyes focused, your soul lit with fire. You say to the world, you can shake the ground, but you will not shake me. You can throw storms, but I am the storm. Because when you finally believe you are worthy of the life you want, when you decide to live like you've already earned it, everything changes. And from that moment on, you're no longer chasing confidence. You are it. When you start to realize that there is no arrival point, that the real challenge is maintaining your mental strength at every single moment, you begin to become unstoppable. Understand this, success is not a straight line. It's not something you simply reach and then rest. The real power lies in your ability to get up every day and keep going, no matter the obstacles, no matter the criticism, no matter the pressure from the world around you. The people who achieved great feats, those who inspired millions and changed the course of history, were not the ones who never failed. They were the ones who knew how to get up after every fall. Think of Edison in his relentless pursuit of the incandescent bulb. How many times did he fail? Thousands. But he never let a failure define his journey. He got up, rethought, adjusted his strategy, and moved forward. And what seemed like an endless journey of failures culminated in the invention that would light up the world. Edison didn't care what the world said. He had a clear vision and an unwavering confidence that his effort would be rewarded. He wasn't seeking approval from anyone, nor waiting for praise. What he wanted, what he knew, was that persistence and confidence would be the keys to turning a dream into reality. That confidence, my friend, is not a matter of luck. It's not something you find overnight. True confidence comes from a trained mind, a mind that knows what it wants and does not quit until it gets it. This requires discipline. It requires sacrifice. It requires you to stay firm even when doubt starts creeping in, even when the forces around you try to undermine your determination. You may be asking yourself, how can I develop that unshakable confidence? How can I be unbreakable like Edison or like the greats in history? The answer is simple, though challenging. You need to start challenging yourself, stepping outside your comfort zone, and acting as though nothing can shake you from your path. It doesn't matter the doubt. It doesn't matter the failure. You must keep going. Every time you doubt yourself, you are giving power to what limits you. When you allow yourself to hesitate, you are inviting failure into your mind. It's not about being perfect, it's about never giving up. Every action you take, no matter how small, is a step toward your greatness. Now, think about what you want to achieve. What is your goal? What is your biggest dream? If you focus on every difficulty that arises, on every obstacle in your way, success will seem distant, almost unattainable. But when you focus on one thing, your determination, your vision, and your unshakable confidence, nothing will stop what lies ahead. The truth is that, if you don't learn to act with unshakable confidence, the world will test you. People will doubt you, challenges will appear, and failures will happen. That's inevitable. But it's also an opportunity to strengthen your mindset. True mental strength doesn't come from the absence of challenges, but from your ability to stay firm when they arise. Confidence that is unshakable is not built overnight. It's a process. A daily practice. But if you have the discipline to keep going, if you can learn to control your thoughts and stay calm in the midst of the storm, you'll begin to see the world differently. You'll see that instead of being a spectator in your own life, you are in control. You are the architect of your destiny, shaping your future with every action, every decision, every thought. Do not let difficulties define who you are. Use them as fuel to strengthen your confidence even more. When you are able to act as if nothing can shake your determination, you become unstoppable. What does that mean? It means that, even when the circumstances seem against you, you remain firm. You act as if you've already won. You act as if nothing can take you off course. And when you act that way, the world begins to align with your confidence. It starts to adjust to your mental power. Now, remember something crucial. You don't need approval from anyone. You don't need the validation of the world. What you need is unwavering faith in yourself. It's the confidence that no matter what happens, you have within you everything required to achieve your goals. When you embrace this mindset, you are on the path to true greatness. You are no longer a spectator. You are the creator of your reality. And what happens when you begin to act as though nothing can shake your confidence? You realize that the limitations that once seemed so real, the barriers you believe were insurmountable, begin to disappear. They are no longer obstacles, but opportunities. The fear of failure will no longer paralyze you. It will simply be another step on your path to success. Do you know what it means to be unshakable? Being unshakable doesn't mean never failing. It means learning to get back up stronger every time you fall. It means knowing that the only limit that exists is in your mind, and when you break through that limit, there's nothing that can stop you. I want you to look at the greatest names in history, those who changed the course of the world. They weren't the most talented or the luckiest. They were the most determined. They were the ones who never, ever doubted their ability to create what they wanted. No matter how many obstacles appeared. No matter what the world said. They were unshakable because they believed in themselves. And you can be like that too. It doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't matter what the world says or what others think. What matters is that, at this very moment, you have the ability to decide to be unshakable. You have the power to shape your future, not with words, but with action. Start acting as though nothing can shake your confidence. Start now. Make the decision to be unbreakable. And when you do, the world will start to respond to that. Because true mental strength, true confidence, comes from within. It doesn't depend on circumstances. It depends on how you choose to view the world and how you choose to act in the face of challenges. When you learn to be unshaken by anything, you become an unstoppable force. And with that force, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Now, it's your turn. Stand up. Believe in yourself. And never, ever let anything take away your confidence. When you do that, you will become the person who can achieve everything you desire. The impossible will be just a word. And you will be unbreakable.